It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Welcome back, folks. Jan Morgan here, filling in for Paul Harrell, who is on vacation. Glad to be with you today, and thank you so much for starting your day with us. With me on the phone is U.S. Congressman Bruce Westerman, representing the folks of Arkansas. And Congressman, thank you so much for joining us here today. Appreciate that. I asked you to be on to talk with us about the immigration issue. Not only, of course, is it a problem in Arkansas, it's a problem nationally and on the federal level. You guys are busy with some immigration legislation, but first of all, I wanted you to just touch on the sentencing yesterday. I know that you've been keeping an eye on what's going on, and just wondered what your thoughts were on John Wood's sentence and the message that it sends.
Yeah, Jan, it's good to be on this morning. As we discussed, I usually call in, I think, about once a month and talk with Paul, and I know you're hosting this week. But yeah, on the sentencing, I mean, I'm not surprised with what happened. You know, I served in the state legislature, and I didn't like the GIF program when I was there. I thought that money should be appropriated, but I think there's going to be a lot more to come on that. But it looks like justice is prevailing in it. But when we talking about immigration, I apologize, I've got to be in another meeting in 15 after, so I'll have to kind of rush through this. But there's a lot of work going on immigration. It's a very important issue. We had a couple of bills that we voted on in the House, and both of them came up short of votes. One that's referred to as the Goodlatte bill, he's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, really covered the 4 pillars of what the Trump administration and what we as House Republicans have said are important on any piece of immigration legislation. And number one is border security. The second part of that is dealing with the visa lottery program, and then the chain migration, and then dealing with the DACA population. Those are kind of the 4 pillars, and there's a lot of details in each of those areas. When we talk about border security, we're not just talking about a wall or a barrier along the border. We've also got to have access along the border. That's one of the biggest things that we're missing there on the southern border is access to get there. There are public lands that are wilderness areas, national monuments, places like that where you can only hike in, ride a horse, or get dropped in by a helicopter. And our Border Patrol agents just simply can't do the job without access along the border. There's been a lot of talk about the visa lottery program and how there's several thousand visas per year that countries just draw names out of hat on who gets to come here on a visa. We need to make that more merit-based and issue those visas to people who can come here and be productive in society. Now, at the same time that's happening, we have people trying to immigrate to our country who are doctors, who are scientists, engineers, who have, a lot of them have been educated here, and there's great demand for the services they provide. And if they're from a country like India or some other country that's met their quota on visas, they simply can't get a visa and they have to leave. Then you look at the chain migration where one person can come and then you get 20 or 30 more coming through the chain migration program. And finally, with the DACA population, we've got people here that were brought here as children. They, the law was broken, but it obviously wasn't them in making the decision. It was a parent or someone. So the bill that covered those 4 areas and in a lot more detail, it got close to 200 votes, and I think there's some tweaks we can make to it.
Well, Bruce, don't you?
That's one of the things. Yeah.
Don't you think that, I mean, when the people elected President Trump, I think that, immigration was a key issue in that election, and the people have been very clear about what they want, and they want that wall, they want security, and I think that the people also want immigration reform. And of all the things that you've talked about there, what do you think, and you know very well that some of the Republicans have been in the way of these things happening. It's not just the Democrats that are causing problems. Of all the things that you've mentioned, what do you believe, based on the tone that you're feeling and sensing there, that we will see happen out of this next session?
So I think you're going to see that is kind of the core of an immigration bill. The things that they're holding up that weren't addressed in that bill, which certainly would include the wall on border security, and you're exactly right about President Trump running on it, and it's a very important is when you deal with the DACA population, they don't get any preferential treatment. They can get in line and apply for a visa like everyone else. Now, the visa lottery program, they take those visas from the lottery and put them in a pool that would be available after the wall was completed. So there's, Congress has voted to build a wall before, they just never funded it. That's the key issue on that. But the other problem is you've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who came here illegally, who are the parents of these DACA kids, and there's not been a good solution proposed on what to do with them. Some people say, they've broken the law, they should be deported. You get into logistical issues with that. Some of them are from countries that won't take them back, countries that don't exist anymore. You've got just all kinds of issues with that. So we got to have a way to deal with them. And one thing that's been proposed is to have a system of restitution where they pay like a $10,000 fine if they're not a felon, or if they don't have a criminal record. If they're employed, they could choose to either go back to their home country for 4 years and then apply to come back, or pay a $10,000 fine. Now, if you're looking at 1 million people paying a $10,000 fine, you're talking about $1 billion right there. They go for border security. Some of that money could go back to the state. You would make it so that if you're a state that's breaking federal law, also known as having a sanctuary city, then you wouldn't be eligible for any of that funding. So I think we can tie a program like that in with an immigration bill and probably get it across the finish line. We've also got to deal with the guest worker program, which is really not an immigration issue, but it needs to be, there needs to be some changes made to that.
Well, I was talking with some folks. I met a woman who has immigrated here from Syria. She's done it the legal way. She's been trying to get U.S. citizenship, and I had no idea how difficult it was to become a U.S. citizen. And in some ways, that's a good thing. It should be something you really want. It should be a process. You should be carefully vetted. But at the same time, she and her husband have spent tens of thousands of dollars, and they've had to travel hours upon hours. It's not like you can just go to one location and be vetted and fill out the paperwork and then wait and then go through the process of education to do that. Do you see anything serious happening on the immigration reform front so that we do make it easier, make the process easier and not quite so expensive for people that actually want to become U.S. citizens as well?
Yeah, if you want to talk to somebody that's irate about illegal immigration, talk to somebody who's immigrating legally, that's going through the process, crossing every hurdle and doing it the right way. You'll find somebody that's really upset about illegal immigration when you talk to them. So yeah, we do need to streamline those processes and make it make the process work better. I don't know that we need to lower the expectations, and also part of an immigration bill is they have to learn the English language when they come here. So I think we've got a lot of good ideas. It's just getting them pulled together in a bill that we can get 218 votes on in the House, and then see what the Senate can do with it. But it's definitely something that's a top priority for the administration, and it's a top priority here in the House. It's just a struggle to get the enough votes on an issue that large to get it across.
And it's a top priority with the people. It's a top priority with the people too. Congressman Bruce Westerman, I promised you I would let you get away in time for your meeting at 7:15, and I'm going to stick to my word. Remind your fellow colleagues, the Republican colleagues, that the people of Arkansas and the people of America want something done on this front. Thank you so much for being with us. Congressman Bruce Westerman talking about what's happening on the federal level. Yes, great guy. Talking about what's happening on the federal level on the immigration front, and a lot of expectations from the people there, because that was a key issue in the presidential election, and it was one that Donald Trump picked up on early in his campaign in the primary, and of course that picked up steam in his race. And I think it definitely helped him win the presidency because he made some serious promises along those lines, and the people are expecting those promises to be fulfilled.